Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Houston Texans lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round playoffs. Tough loss for the Texans. I mean, I'm used to it. At this point, I'm used to it. I'm used to this in the divisional round. This is now, the fourth time I've witnessed this in my Texans, being a Texans fan. I've been a Texans fan my whole life, but been watching Texans football since 2016. But I've been a Texans fan my whole life, since 2007. But 4 times I've seen this team lose. And I guess I will say, this is kind of sad. It's a little debatable, but I think this is probably the best team I've seen my team play in the divisional round. Last year I saw this team get smacked 34-10. It was absolutely disgusting. I mean, I was so depressed last year after the Baltimore loss. Oh, my God. I was in a room and turned everything off until I realized the Rockets were about to come on. Then I turned everything back on. But, yeah, and then obviously you can already know how depressing the Chiefs' first loss was a couple years ago. And yeah, I mean, that's the most points I've seen the Texans put up in a divisional round playoff game with 31 points. But they gave up 51, blew a 24-point lead, and lost by 20. So I don't know if I would say that was a better performance 5 years ago than what the Texans did today, which the Texans were actually pretty solid defensively. Sure, they weren't as good offensively as the Texans were in that game 5 years ago in 2020 where they scored 31 points, but I think this was a better overall performance. And then the first divisional round playoff game I witnessed as a Texans fan was the Patriots, which was 34-16. We actually got to intercept Tom Brady 2 times, but outside of that game did not have a lot of bright spots. So, anyways, moving on from recapping divisional losses, this team's never won a divisional round game, and here's another add to the list of failed chances the Texans have to get to a conference championship game. And, yeah, a lot of Texans fans are upset about the refs. I'm upset about the refs. I have a passion of hate for Clay Martin, one of the lead referees, who the Chiefs have never won a game when this guy refs their games. I mean, they've never lost a game when he refs their games. I have such a hate for him, and I think he's an idiot too, and you can tell he's corrupt, right? And they made 2 absolute horrible roughing the passer calls in this game, absolute horrible. Maybe we can all donate to charity to get his eyes checked during the offseason. Maybe we can all get together and get a GoFundMe for Clay Martin for him to go to the eye doctor. But look, those calls upset me, but I'm not going to ignore the facts. Those calls, those roughing the passer calls were crucial. They both led to points for the Kansas City Chiefs. One led to a touchdown. The first one led to a field goal, and then the second one led to a touchdown. So that's 10 points right there. That should be gone. Chiefs should have scored only 13 points. You're probably thinking, well, the Texans scored 14. That means they would have won the ball game. Let's take away the safety because, that would have never happened if the Chiefs had, only 13 points. They would have never done that, only up by 1, right? So they would have never done that at all. So safety never happens. That means it's 13-12, right? And the Texans didn't score enough points. I think it's a completely different story if Kaimi Fairbairn makes that last field goal where he missed it. The Texans were trying to make it 23-15. If he makes that field goal, I think we should all be talking about how the Texans should have won the ball game because the refs handed the Chiefs 10 points in this football game. But Kaimi Fairbairn, who looked awful in this game, got blocked. Let's not blame Kaimi Fairbairn for that. How about Laramie Tunsil completely missing to block Justin Reed, former Texan? Well, I don't even know what that is right there. Why is he forgetting to block Justin Reed? One of the best left tackles in football can't block. If he makes that field goal, I am screaming on this YouTube video right now, screaming. But he didn't, and the Chiefs still win by 1 point. We can all, I mean, look, we can all go back and look at Kaimi Fairbairn. What if he made the extra point? What if he made the extra point? Then it should be a tied 13 ball game. Or if he made the field goal, we should have won by 2 or 3. But he didn't make those kicks. And so it sucks. But the Chiefs would have still won this ball game. And, but I'm still, I guess I'd say I'm still a little bit happy the way this team played today. Especially with the refs helping them a little bit. I'm not saying the Chiefs won because of the refs, but the reason why this was a non-so-close game was because of the refs' help. I'm not saying the Chiefs won because of the refs, but they won by big, or won by 9, and were up by 11 because of the refs, is what I'm saying. Because of those two crucial calls that they made. But at the still same time, they still beat us no matter what. And let's move on. Let's go to the scoring summary of this football game. First quarter, started off with a Harrison Butker 32-yard field goal. Terrible start to this game with the kick return, and defense recovered greatly, 3-0. Kaimi Fairbairn then knocks in a 30-yard field goal. It's 3-3. Butker makes a 36-yard field goal as a field goal quarter. And then Kareem Hunt with a 1-yard touchdown run. It's 13-3. Then Kaimi Fairbairn made a 48-yarder to go to halftime. It's 13-6. He nearly missed this. That would have been if he would have missed that kick, we're looking at a day where Fairbairn's only made kick is a 30-yarder where he also has a extra point missed, a 48-yard field goal missed, and also a 35-yard field goal missed. But he made the 48-yarder, barely made the 48-yard field goal. And then the smartest thing I think the Texans did in this football game, was have a slow drive, right? Go slow. Take the clock away from the Chiefs. That's the best way to beat this team. And you do that. 10 minutes and 24 seconds, the Texans win. That's probably their longest drive of the entire season. And so basically, then Joe Mixon runs it in for a 13-yard touchdown. That's a great way to cap off a drive. Amazing. And Fairbairn misses the extra point. This is two games that we can go back and look and say the momentum was killed by Kaimi Fairbairn missed extra point. Last time the Texans and Chiefs played each other, the Texans were down 20-13. We see the Tank Dell touchdown pass. Yes, unfortunately, Tank Dell gets injured. So terrible that happened to Tank. But leading after the injury timeout, Fairbairn trying to tie the game up, missed it. Sure, we can all say that the Texans' momentum was killed when Tank got injured, but it also got killed when Kaimi Fairbairn failed to tie the game against the Chiefs and make it 20-20. Well, same thing happens here today when he can't tie the game up at 13-13 because the momentum was killed after that too. Sure, the Texans had a solid drive where they got down to around the 5-yard line. And actually had to settle for a field goal and missed that. But outside of that, after the touchdown, the offensive momentum was killed after that missed extra point. And then we see Mahomes throw an amazing touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. I hate all the glaze that we see Patrick Mahomes get, but this was a hell of a play by Patrick Mahomes. Let's give him some credit. We're going to give Joe Burrow the credit he got when he made that incredible play earlier this year against, was it the Browns? I think it was against the Browns. I believe it was against the Browns. The amazing play by Patrick Mahomes. And then really to seal the deal with 4 minutes left, Harrison Butker makes a 27-yarder. It's 23-12. And then Matt Araiza just runs for safety and makes it 23-14. Sorry, everybody that betted 9.5. Ay, feel bad for you. Game leaders, C.J. Stroud, 19 for 28, 245 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes, 16 for 25, 177 passing yards and a passing touchdown. Joe Mixon, 18 carries, 88 rushing yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 8 carries, 44 rushing yards and a touchdown. He looked pretty good. Nico Collins looked good with 5 receptions for 81 receiving yards. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends in football, or probably the best tight end in football when it comes to playoffs. I think he just today he has the most out of all tight ends, has the most 100-yard receiving games in the playoffs. 7 receptions, 117 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Like I mentioned, I think C.J. Stroud looked great. Banged up his knee in this game. That doesn't make me feel too great going into the offseason. And he was sacked 8 times today. That was great. If you can tell my sarcasm. But yeah, that's definitely tough for him to get sacked 8 times. I have feared all season about him getting hurt because of this trash O-line. And of course it happens the last game of the season. I guess that's kind of solid because you don't have to worry about him missing time in the regular season. But you want him to be healthy going into next year. So hope everything's okay with him. But maybe it's not because of this terrible offensive line. But you know what? At the same time, let's not all pin it on the offensive line. Yes, this offensive line is terrible. But C.J. Stroud needs to learn how to throw the football away more. I think that's probably one of the number one thing he needs to do more often is throw the ball away when your O-line lets you down. And also, do more what you've done in these last 2 playoff games. Run. He ran for 42 rushing yards today. He ran for 44, 42 last week. Keep running. This is good. We didn't see a lot of this in the regular season, but he showed it tonight. He showed it last week. Do that more and throw the ball away more when your O-line sells. Dameon Pierce had 4 carries for 10 rushing yards. Pacheco was terrible, or he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't good. 5 carries, 18 rushing yards. Mahomes ran for 14 rushing yards. If you subtract all the knees he took, I think he was at 23 rushing yards before he took all the knees because he kept going all the way back. Dre Ngabalawe actually had a big 9-yard carry, ran the ball for 9 yards that got Farrenbarron in more comfortable field goal range for a 48-yard field goal. But I guess that really didn't mean anything. Outside of Nico, Dalton Schultz is great. You expected him to step up. He had 4 receptions for 63 receiving yards. Hutchinson had 4 receptions for 52 receiving yards. He was great. Mechie had 2 for 35. Should have got Joe Mixon more involved in the passing game. 2 receptions for 12 receiving yards. Irv Smith Jr. had 2 receiving yards with one reception. And Dameon Pierce had a target. So did Dre Ngabalawe, who had a reception but didn't have any yards on that. And Jared Wayne was targeted twice. First time he's targeted in his entire career, but did not catch any of those passes. Outside Travis Kelce, love Xavier Worthy, I'll tell you that, but just don't love the team he plays for as a Longhorns fan. 5 receptions for 45 receiving yards for Xavier Worthy. Noah Gray had 3 receptions for 13 receiving yards. It was Worthy and Kelce, nobody else. I mean, sure Noah Gray as well, but Hopkins, former Texan, didn't do anything. Juju Smith-Schuster or Hollywood Brown didn't do anything. Very quiet day for this receiving core outside of Kelce and Worthy. Fumbles, Mahomes fumbled in this game but recovered his own fumble. That was almost Patrick Mahomes' first turnover in the divisional round. He's never turned the ball over in the divisional round playoffs. And then there was another fumble by Nico Remigo, and who I think that's their kick returner who got this game started off on a blast, and that was on the opening kickoff, and it was recovered by Samaje Perine. T.J. Stroud lost a fumble, and it was recovered by Shaq Mason. This is a prime example of why C.J. Stroud needs to throw the ball away. Texans are trying to get in field goal range. It was a 3rd down, and as the current spot would have been a 52-yard field goal for Kaimi Farrenbarron. And pressure comes for C.J. Stroud. You should throw the football away. No, he keeps it, gets hit, ball's out. Shaq Mason jumps on top of it. It's a loss of 3 yards, which becomes a 55-yard field goal. Look, I think probably Fairburn probably still misses from 52, but I know 52 is easier to make than 55 is. But yeah, defensive stats, Henry Toto had 7 tackles to lead this tackle group. 3 sacks. This team, I think they only sacked, I don't think they sacked Mahomes at all. They didn't sack Mahomes at all last time, which was really disappointing. But they got him 3 times today. Will Anderson got him twice, and the other went to who I believe is the former Kansas City Chief, Tommy Togai. 6 tackles for loss, 3 for Will Anderson Jr., obviously 1 for Tommy, 1 for Tim Settle Jr., and 1 for Jared Wayne. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I'm guessing that was on the safety. I'm guessing. But yeah, Chiefs had 8 sacks. George Karlaftis, I mean, he's insane. 3 sacks. 1 for Chamari Connor. 1 for Charles Omenihu. When the Texans played the Chiefs in Week 16, I had someone commenting on here that he sucked. Charles Omenihu is a really good player. I don't really like him that much because he's talked crap about the Texans as being a former Texan player, but he's a really good player. Had a sack today. 1 sack for Chris Jones. Of course, he had to get in the party. 1 sack for Felix. What am I doing? Felix and Unudlike Uzma. Sorry. 1 sack for Tershawn Ralton. And then that was it. 8 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. No picks. CJ didn't throw a pick. Obviously, Pat didn't. And that was it. Tough loss. But I guess that's just been the story of, me being a Texans fan, or us being Texans fans, other Texans fans listening. There's now 5 playoff losses I've witnessed as a fan, or was a fan watching. And yeah, one wild card loss against the Colts and 4 divisional round losses that I've mentioned. So, yep. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comment section, and peace out.